Does he want to turn this country into a monarchy? Maybe we can change the constitution and establish a kingdom where President Museveni is the king, and then his son will properly ascend to the throne as a crown prince. But the way the constitution is, or the precedents that we have seen in this country, Uganda is not yet a monarchy. We have monarchs like Busoga Kingdom. They can enthrone their sons, the crown prince. Bunyoro, Uganda, we will not have issues. But when you seek an executive office of the president, and you are running a campaign where you want your son to succeed you, that's very, very unfortunate.
There is tension brewing between Uganda President Yoweri Museveni and his members of parliament because they think the president is trying to hand over his presidency to his son Mahuzi, and they think Uganda government system is not a monarch system. I want us to watch this video. I will be back.
President Museveni, you have been around for very many years as a president. God has been kind to you. Ugandans have been kind to you. Don't abuse our goodwill. And don't think that the goodwill we have had for you is the goodwill we are going to give to your son. If you are breaking, if you are not living by the law, when you are just an aspirant, when you become a full one, will you obey the law? Are we not going to see another Amin in this country? We are not in politics to clap hands for a particular family. We are in politics to ensure that there is sanity. When we see a serving army officer coming out contrary to the Constitution, Article 208, and contrary to UPDF Act, Section 99, which requires that anyone in uniform, should you desire to participate in politics, you have to resign or retire from the army. We are asking President Museveni, why are you doing this to us? What are you trying to tell this country? Or you are trying to confirm what you earlier said, that for you these documents are just nothing. These ideals were passed on to us by Ugandans who fought dearly at independence, for us to attain independence. We would want any subsequent leader to preserve the Constitution. When this matter of breaking the Constitution is being done by your son, you leave us with very many questions. Yes, you want your son to succeed you, but why don't you follow a normal procedure? What is difficult? Why do you want to keep in the army and at the same time aspire for political office? What is difficult? Is there unfinished business Muhoozi has to do in UPDF? If it is there, then you tell him to wait. If you feel, and the way we are seeing events turning out, that you want your son to succeed you, then tell him to resign from the army and respect the laws of this country. Now, the evidence before us is overwhelming that President Museveni is carrying out two campaigns, his own campaign and the campaign of his son. And we are inviting all Ugandans to look at that scenario of being power hungry. Does he want to turn this country into a monarchy? Maybe we can change the constitution and establish a kingdom where President Museveni is the king. And then his son will properly ascend to the throne as a crown prince. But the way the constitution is, or the precedents that we have seen in this country, Uganda is not yet a monarchy. We have monarchs like Busoga Kingdom. They can enthrone their sons, the crown prince. Bunyoro, Uganda, we will not have issues. But when you seek an executive office of the president, and you are running a campaign where you want your son to succeed in, that's very, very unfortunate. And I will want to agree with my honorable colleague that whereas we have been supporting his father, and we do still support him, we are not ready to support General Muhoozi. We are not ready. Within the NRM, we are calling upon all members of NRM to go down and register and cherish our party dearly, and continue to call upon members who are still sane in NRM that in NRM we are not going to allow this type of power, of ascending to power in this form. And we want to ask President Museveni, you have been around for very many years as a president. God has been kind to you. Ugandans have been kind to you. Don't abuse our goodwill. And don't think that the goodwill we have had for you is the goodwill we are going to give to your son. No. No. I know you are using a lot of money to buy people. They have called a rally in Masaka. But 6 buses are ferrying people from Kagadi. If you have people in Masaka, why are you ferrying people from Kagadi? 6 buses. And I know it is the order of the day, even from Karamoja. People will come from Karamoja to go to Masaka. You find them, when they will be speaking in Uganda, they will even not understand what is going on. A rally is going to cost a fortune. Ugandans are still wallowing under poverty. We have just started parish development model where we thought there would be hope for the ordinary Ugandans. Now you are diverting money into the campaign of your son. Ferrying people from Kagadi, ferrying people from Karamoja and the other districts to go to a particular rally. We want to thank senior members of the party, like General Kahinda Otafiri, like Alhaji Naduli, and others who have guided the country and said they did not fight. That is not the type of democracy they fought for. We also want to use this opportunity to call upon members of our party, NRM party, who are moving around that they are in Pilau. According to the NRM constitution, that is Kilikism. They are supposed to go for disciplinary causes. The other matter is that we invite them to the issue of breaking the constitution. Because when they break the constitution, when you are there, when did they get power? This is what my president, Theodore Sechkubo, asked. If you are breaking, if you are not living by the law, when you are just an aspirant, when you become a forward, will you obey the law? Are we not going to see another Amin in this country? Let's leave the questions to the Ugandans. But we feel, and our critical guidance is that General Muhoozi should choose where it should belong. This thing of thinking of behaving like a hyena, which started smelling this side, the smell of ants, this side, the smell of meat, then he did like this, the legs, and it ended up breaking into two pieces, splitting into two pieces. Choose where you want to belong, the army or the politics, and come out clearly. What are you fearing? If Tinka Simire Barnabas can go to his constituency without anyone, without being carried by anyone, and he wins a constituency 4 times, for you, the army general, what are you fearing? If you are incompetent, why don't you leave us alone? What are you fearing? You say you are a general. What are you fearing? You have all the money. What are you fearing? Why don't you resign? And we want to thank you so much for listening to us.
There is a say, if you are in a crowd and receiving applause, when the applause become loud, it's time for you to leave. I don't know much about Uganda politics, but if I'm right, then it seems President Museveni is trying to push his son to become the next president of the country, which is Uganda. And that is where sometimes you can't even defend African leaders because the greediness and selfishness is too much. You know, it's good. It's better if, I don't know what their constitution says, but if his son is capable of ruling the country, just present a fair ground for them to, for him to also compete, but not have a push hand from the president. You have to provide a fair ground for him to also compete with people who think they are competent and they can compete with your son. And if your son wins, yes, he can rule the country, but if he loses, he also understands if your father is a president doesn't mean you can also become president. So if he's preparing the ground for him to go against their constitution and hand over his presidency to his son, then I think that will be a greedy movement. And it's about time African leaders realize that we have equal people who are competent to rule the country. So when it's time, stop being greedy and present people with fair ground for them to compete, for them to make sure they can also present their policy and ideologies that can help build the continent. But always, we have realized when it comes to leadership in Africa, someone can be in power for years, and after that, when he's trying to leave power, he will try to present, or he will try to hand over the power to a family member or anyone he choose deemed fit to rule the country. And that is not how I think it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be people who are competent, and the people who, when people believe in him, if people believe in him, he can deliver. I don't know much about what happens in Uganda, but this particular man, Uganda, I came to know him when I think somewhere last year or 2 years ago, he decided to poke his nose in Kenyan affair, and it's nearly turned into war, which allowed the president of Uganda to come and release an apology letter to the Kenya government. If he's the same person, then I think Uganda is going to be in a whole lot of mess, because that man seems to be causing trouble among even countries. He has been causing trouble among Ugandan and Kenyans. So if he becomes leader, I don't know what he is capable of. So let's wait and see what happens. I think Ugandans have to fight for their rights. I'm not saying Museveni's son cannot become a leader. He can become a leader if he's competent, but they have to be presented with a fair ground for them to compete. If he wins, fine. If he don't win, the competent one rules. Please, you can go to my description box, click on the Telegram link on my description box, and join us on Telegram platform for us to talk about the well-being of Africa. If today is also your first time coming to this channel, then don't forget to subscribe to this channel and turn on the notification button so that anytime I upload any great content, you will be notified. Thanks for watching.